Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name's Rachel and I am knitting. Not right now, but most of the time. And I have been knitting, so I'm going to tell you all about it. Today's video is episode 54 of my weekly podcast, which is a podcast series I upload every week. I guess that's self-explanatory with the term weekly podcast, but it's a weekly series where I tell you all about the things that I've been making, any yarn I've acquired or fiber I've acquired. Most of the time it's very knitting heavy on this channel, but I also crochet, I do spin, I cross stitch too, but I haven't done that in a very, very long time. But anyway, you never know what you're going to get, but you can basically count on knitting every week at least. So yeah, I just talked to you about what I've been making, what I've been thinking, things I've acquired, if there are patterns on my radar that I really want to cast on, and yeah. So if you want a glimpse into my life and the things that I'm making and thinking and doing and, I don't know, mistakes I'm making and learning from, projects I'm excited about, whatever, then hit the subscribe button because YouTube analytics tells me that many of you watching aren't subscribed, but you're return viewers. Hello? Hit that subscribe button. What's it going to hurt? Nothing. It's only going to help me. So anyway, unless you hate me, unless I'm your hate watch, oh my gosh, perish the thought, hit the subscribe button. All right, so let's get started with project updates. I have 5 projects to share with you, and they are knitting, crochet, and a secret third category. So I'll save that one for last. The first project that I want to update you on is my Yorlin, which, oh, I'll grab it. It's over here. Also, you may notice I'm mic'd up today, and the reason that is because it was thunderstorming a little bit ago. It has since stopped. Once I charged the microphones, all the outside noise turned off, and I charged them specifically so you could hear me and not the thunderstorm, but I haven't been using the mics lately because before I left for Scotland, I recorded a podcast with the mic, and then turned out the mic had died and I wasn't monitoring the situation closely enough to realize that. So I just yapped on and on for an hour without any sound. So that podcast was lost to all eternity. Anyway, the point is, I'm wearing a microphone today. Okay. So my Yorlin, back on track here. My Yorlin, last week I told you that I had made a mistake in the lace 4 rows back. On one of the lace panels, I attempted to do surgery and just frog the lace section of the row and then redo the lace section, but then I messed that up. So I was faced with the choice of frogging the entire 4 rows, like not just the lace panel, but also the stockinette body sections, or attempting lace surgery again. And I would need to do that on the first panel I tried and failed at, and then I would next also need to do it on the other lace panel, which I haven't yet attempted surgery on. I was leaning towards just frogging the 4 rows in their entirety and reknitting them at the time that last week's episode posted, and based on many of your comments saying that's what you would do too, because oftentimes when you ladder down and do kind of surgery and reknit just a section, the tension is kind of wonky, and that's definitely been my experience before. So I agree with many of you who commented and said that frogging the whole 4 rows would probably be best. So that's what I'm going to do. I haven't done it yet. I hear the thunder coming again, so maybe the mic ultimately wasn't a wasted choice. But yeah, I'm on the same page as many of you, and I will be frogging those 4 rows and reknitting them. I just haven't done it yet. Okay, so there's the update on my Yorlin cardigan. That's a design by Kate Davies, by the way. This is my first time knitting one of her designs, and so far, so good. The only issue that I can think of is my own fault, and that's the lace panel kerfuffle, we'll call it. All right, so the second project to update you on, well, I will say first, there are several projects like from last week. You may remember I had a bunch of emotional support chickens I was working on. There's been no progress on those. They're at a standstill, so yeah. What I wanted to do is I wanted to finish the third one before I seamed up all 3, but the third one, well, I'll talk to you more about that when I go over the next project, actually, which is in a granny square bag. And guess what? It's a granny square project. Isn't that perfect? This bag is from Barley Pearls, which I'll tell you about later in the acquisitions section. So make sure you stick around because there may be something in it for you. Wink, wink. If you are interested. Also, wink, wink. In college, I hated when people winked at me. I still don't really, like, I don't need to be winked at, whether it's like a, you know, hubba hubba kind of wink or just like someone, I don't know. I don't really, it's not always bad, but typically I don't care for it. In college in particular, I hated it, like very viscerally. So whenever someone winked at me, this is what I would do in return. And they thought it was so weird and they would get so uncomfortable. And I would thought, ha ha, you made me uncomfortable. I made you uncomfortable right back. So, okay, wink, wink. Stick around to the acquisition section if you like this bag. So in the bag, I have a lot of scraps. This is the leftovers of the Bestie Fiber Advent that Leslie of Knit California made me for December 2024. I was telling her I was sad that I didn't have an Advent, and so she made me one from her stash. And I worked through the first few days to make socks with my circular sock machine. If you want to watch the videos I made before I burnt out, you can watch my 2024 Vlogmas series. I'll link it up above here. So anyway, I have these scraps in my bag for this project because I was working diligently on this granny square project, which if you watched last week, you may remember, but if you're not familiar, I'm working with yarn that I got from the Row 1 Carnival of Color monthly subscription. The Row 1 Carnival of Color is basically every month is a new dyer. So you get 10 colors, 10 grams each of each color. So they're tiny little 10-gram cakes, just enough to kind of get a feel for the color and for how that month's particular dyer, like what their colors are like, what their yarn is like. And I have 3 months worth of the Row 1 Carnival of Color subscription. So I've been using those to make a granny square pillow sham. These will not be the same on either side of the pillow. Obviously these two squares are different and this one is not complete yet. This one, we'll talk about it. So I got to the dark purple row of this granny square. Imagine the light purple row on the outer perimeter is not there. I got to the dark purple one. And then I went full force into this granny square. Now I had about 4 or 5 additional rows than what you see here, but I decided it was barf me to death ugly, the colors I chose after this green. So I ripped them out. And in fact, I may continue ripping because the way that the yarn is, there's not really enough for a larger row, like a row further from the center, because it takes more yarn the more out you go from the center row or round. So I'm not sure what to do with this one because ideally it would be the same size as this one to fit over the pillow form that I have. I have 2 pillow forms in my closet and I want to use them up. So that was at a standstill, which led me to look at this one. And I was like, maybe I can just make this one bigger because I was playing around with it and I really liked the look of, let me see if I can do this. I really liked the look of this, basically folding it 4 ways on the back. It's really hard to do this without it having any like sewing to secure it. But I just thought that looked so cool. But then I was like, I mean, that's kind of defeating the purpose because if I were to make this into a pillow now, it would not fit the pillow form I have in my closet. I would have to buy a new pillow form or make a pillow insert to go in there. And the whole point of this project was to get a use for the pillow form in my closet. So then I added this light purple round from my fiber advent or yarn advent from Leslie. This is Kimbers Cozy Creations Gen Z purple on her, I don't remember what the base is called, but it's like a rainbow tweed. The tweed neps are rainbow blues and pinks and yellows, and you know what a rainbow is. So that basically, that was 3 strikes and you're out for this project, and it hurt my feelings enough to the point where I just put it in the bag, never to be seen of again, or seen or heard from again. I don't know, that's a bit dramatic, but yeah, it hurt my feelings too many times. But look inside this bag. You can see there's pockets on either side of the bag. Do you see those? I'm trying not to crinkle a bunch. But it's a really, really nice bag. And it has a loop for a key ring on it. So I'm just very happy with this bag. And it's so fun to have a granny square project in there. I'm keeping the hook in the bag so I can remember what size hook I'm using, even though I have the info on my Ravelry project page. I think I do. If I don't, for future me, I'm using a US G6 or a 4mm hook. Okay, so that's the update on my granny square pillow sham. I don't know what's going to happen with it. I hope to finish it one day, but I don't know when that day will be. We'll find out together. I'll keep you updated. But that's all I have to update you on today. So that leads me to project number 3, which I will tell you is a non-starter, meaning it's not going to be a project that is a real finished object anytime soon. So you may remember last week I talked about how I really, really want a green Felix cardigan in my wardrobe. I have a purple Felix cardigan that I absolutely love. Love, 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 love. And I want a green one. So I'm kind of in this phase where I have a lot of purple items in my wardrobe. Rightly so. Beautiful color. But I also want more green garments in my hand knit wardrobe because I'm really enjoying green right now. So I'm kind of doing a 1-for-1. Like I knit a green alchemy. I already had a purple alchemy. I knit a green, what's the second one I did? Maybe I haven't done a second one yet. I cast on a green Felix. I also want a green California sweater. So anyway, I want green of everything that I have a purple of because I want to be able to totally celebrate that duality of loving purple and loving green and have garments that match those things. So anyway, all this to say, I'll finally get to the point. I cast on a green Felix over the weekend. Now, I don't know if you can tell, but in fact, it's very difficult to tell. But I have to say, focus, there we go. If you look closely, it looks like there's a lot of depth to this yarn. And the reason that it looks that way is because the analog DK, which is the wool yarn, the Shanico wool yarn that I'm using, with the Chime Surrey, which is the lace weight fuzzy Surrey, they're different depths of color. So here's the analog DK. This is from Clockwork Fiber Co. Both of these yarns are. And here is the Surrey. Now, I was super excited when I saw this green Surrey on the website because it's quite dark. And I mentioned this last week, but there have been a few green colorways in different collections by different dyers that have really, really spoken to me. But I didn't get a Felix sweater quantity because I didn't like how the Surrey looked. Like, oftentimes Surrey takes on a lighter color than the wool version of it. And so to see a darker Surrey, that really, really sparked my interest, piqued my interest. So I got it, and I thought it was going to look great together. But as it's being knit up, I just don't like the marling that is taking place. And I know it's super difficult to see. You may be thinking that I'm seeing things, but I promise it's there. I promise it's real. And ultimately, even if it were only me seeing things, that's really all that matters, because it's something I'm making for me, for my preferences on my body and my taste. So take that as a reminder to yourself. Like, if you don't like it and you're making it for yourself, you don't need any other person's permission or validation to stop or pivot or whatever. Okay? So yeah, it's just not my preference. It's not what I was hoping for. Let's see. Let me find a spot where it's really pronounced. Maybe here. Can you see how there's a bit of marling? I just don't want any marling on this. I want something that matches the tone. Like, I don't want that difference of color. And maybe if I had kept knitting on this and gotten more fabric to look at, it wouldn't be a big deal. It would kind of blend in and not be as pronounced. But I just decided to listen to my gut and pivot. But even now, I'm like second guessing myself. No, I've made my decision and I've decided something else. So let me walk you through what happened. Stand by. Okay, so I've gathered up all of the swatches to tell this story. So I had the analog DK in Hunter from Sam of Clockwork Fiber Co. Okay, and I had the dark green Surrey. I'm not liking how they're working together, so I went on a mission to explore how they might work with other things I had. So the first thing that I did was I grabbed my Surrey of the Stories That Really Mattered. This was gifted to me in 2023 by Treehouse Knits. Originally, I was going to make a cowl cardigan, but I ended up deciding not to. So I have a sweater quantity of the Stories That Really Mattered on Surrey and on a DK weight. So those have been sitting waiting for the perfect project. I've been thinking I could make them into a doppio, but I just thought, okay, let me look and see how this Surrey works with this analog DK. Maybe it will be a really lovely pairing. And I have to tell you, that is true. Look at that. So this is the swatch of my analog DK with the Stories That Really Mattered on Surrey. And I think that it's gorgeous. It's like a very subtle camouflagey type color. Let's see if I turn the computer on. So the monitor, there we go. It's a little lighter for you to see. See how the blue and the brown really pops, and then the areas that are green on the swatch, I think they just blend in with the analog DK, the green Surrey, I should say. So I really, really liked that, but I wasn't like totally sold on using that with my Hunter, because I really, really love this Hunter color and I want to be very choosy with what I pair with it. But when I compared this swatch to the swatch of Stories That Really Mattered, where I held the DK Stories That Really Mattered with the Surrey Stories That Really Mattered, so the swatch was made up of these yarns, so same colorway, two different bases. That's what it looks like paired together. Again, let me give you more light. Yeah, there you go. So still very beautiful, and you see the difference here when you swap the DK weight from the variegated to be a tonal, a green. So those are some things to think about. Should I make a doppio? Should I make a Felix with this? I immediately decided no, this is not right for a Felix for what I want, but maybe a doppio would look good. But then I must say I really had a stroke of genius, because I was thinking that this swatch that I made in 2023 with the Surrey Stories I Really Mattered held with the DK Stories I Really Mattered is really, really gorgeous, but it's not really, like, I don't think it makes me pop. What I mean to say is I don't think it makes, it doesn't spark you know? Like, okay, anyway. Uh, so then I thought, what would happen if I held the dark green Surrey with the DK stories that really mattered? I was like, you know what? Let me just try it. Look at this swatch. Oh my gosh. Oh, it's so pretty. So pretty. So by pairing this dark green Surrey with the stories that really mattered, the areas that pop are the purples and the browns, and the lighter areas of stories that really mattered to be like this really beautiful jewel toned green variegated swatch. I just loved it. And so now, unexpectedly, my yarn's all tangled up here on my desk. Unexpectedly, I have, dun da da da, a doppio on the needles. Now, it's interesting because this doppio, like this gauge, I'm working on size 10s. It's pretty airy. So I think that the Dove DK is maybe not as thick as if I had fingering held double, because if you remember, I have made a doppio before. I made it from start to finish in 7 days, and I absolutely hate the garment that came out of it. I haven't worn it once. I mean, it hasn't really been cold enough to wear it since I made it, but, well, I guess there was a whole winter between then and anyway, it doesn't matter. The point is, this is a little less dense, a little less compact than the last doppio I made, which is just fine. It's still going to be very cozy, very warm, but maybe will be more wearable for me here in the south of the US because it's not going to be super, super thick. The doppio can be really, really thick. It calls for 1 strand of DK and 1 strand of lace, or 2 strands of fingering, 1 strand of lace, or 1 strand of worsted, maybe also with lace. Unclear to my memory, but yeah, I'm working on a doppio. If you haven't made the doppio yet, it knits up quite quickly. I knit one in 7 days, and I had work at that time, so that was nuts. So definitely a quick knit. It calls for size 10 needles. It has a very, very large gauge. So there you have it. Also, something that people really enjoy about the doppio is that it has a compound raglan, meaning the raglan increases for the shoulder and the neck and the back are not 1 for 1. Like, there are some rows where you only increase the sleeves. There are some rows where you only, I think, only increase the back and front, and then some rows where you increase everywhere. So apparently that makes a better fit. That's for you to decide. But yeah, that's kind of the process to bring me to the project on my needles. I still really, 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 truly want a green Felix cardigan, but I'm going to continue the hunt. Sam may be trying to make a Surrey that matches this perfectly, but we'll see. We'll see what happens with that. But I just have to have a green Felix, or I'll probably die. So there's the update. But that's all I have for project updates. Nothing. Oh no, I have one more project update. I promised you a secret 3rd category. Are you ready for it? Maybe take a second and guess. What is a secret 3rd category that Rachel has in her project lineup? What could it be? Is it, what could it be? Is it quilting? Is it hand sewing? Is it embroidering? Is it protest art? What is it? Did you guess whittling? If so, you'd be correct. So I'm going to whittle a bird. Obviously, I haven't started besides gluing the pattern onto this block of wood. This is from a sweet little kit that DJ and I found on Amazon. He got one and I got one because our 5th wedding anniversary is coming up, and the traditional gift to give for the 5th wedding anniversary is wood. So we're going to each whittle each other a little bird. And I already know his is going to be better than mine because, first of all, he started his and it looks great. And he's been watching whittling YouTube videos, and he even ordered upgraded whittling knives. Like, he's really going all into it, and I have only glued the pattern on the bird. But I got to get going because our anniversary is the 25th and time doesn't stop around here. So there you go. Secret third category. I am a woodworker now. All right, that's it for project updates. Let me show you now my spin diary. And I just have to say, get ready for your socks to be blown off. Is it blow your socks off? Knock. Get ready for your socks to be knocked off, not blown off. That is really a lot. Sorry. I made yarn. Oh, and it's so pretty. So this is so pretty. Let me walk you through my entire thought process about this skein of yarn that I have made myself with my own two hands and my spinning wheel. So I first spun the variegated, which is the lighter of the two plies on this skein of yarn. This is a 200 gram, well, I haven't weighed the finished skein, but 2 braids of fiber to make this one jumbo skein. So essentially 2 skeins worth it should be about 200 grams. Okay, there we go. So I first spun the light ply, which was Big Sur. Now, in last week's podcast episode, I incorrectly referred to it as Cairo, which you'll have to forgive me, but I still have Cairo, and the reason I got it mixed up is because my plans for this braid are to spin it with another braid of the blue, Egypt. So I have another braid of Egypt, which is the darker ply of this skein. But this skein is Big Sur plied with Egypt, both from Treehouse Knits on the silky camelid merino base, which is a blend of merino, brown alpaca, mulberry silk, and camel. Camel! Amazing. So, last week, I had the braid of Big Sur done, and the braid of Egypt was on my wheel. And I was telling you how I was going to ply them together, but I was nervous. I was nervous because I have learned I don't prefer barber poling or candy striping on my hand-spun skeins. I don't like it. I don't think it looks very good. So I was scared because when you have 2 plies that are very different in their color, that can happen. So even when I started plying this, even when it was on my bobbin and I was actively plying these 2 braids together, or these 2 spins together, I was really nervous because I thought, I don't know if this looks good. I just don't know. But this finished skein, are you kidding me? This looks so dang good. Oh my gosh, so good. So I think what it is that as long as, like, it's okay if there's a difference in hue or tone between the 2 plies, but as long as at least one of them has variegation or difference in the color, so there's some, I don't know, softness or blending between the 2, then I don't mind the difference in the plies, because I think this is just so stunning. I'm very pleased. In fact, this isn't quite dry, so I just skeined it up for the podcast to show you in skein form. But wow, I'm just so pleased with it. I don't know what I'll make with it. I would say just looking at it, it's probably between a sport and a DK weight, but I haven't officially measured, nor will I, because I don't care. But it does help me to eyeball it and have an idea of what weight it is. Like, look at this. Look at the variation. Oh, so pretty. Yeah, so I'm not sure what I'll make with it, but I'm just excited to look at it and have it on my yarn wall because it's fabulous. Fabulous and gorgeous. One downside to having a mic is I do feel like I have to be very precious about how I move my head because I don't want to have like a scratching sound. That's the worst thing in the world. Okay, so let me tell you about my second spin. That's right, folks. I spun an entirely additional braid. It's pronounced purple, from For the Love of Yarn. I purchased this as a souvenir in Glasgow at For the Love of Yarn. This is one of their hand-dyed braids of fiber. I spun it up into a 2-ply skein of yarn. There are some parts where it's very over-twisted. This was a very fast spin. I spun this between the hours of midnight and 2 a.m. Or maybe, no, that was way too fast. I think like 9 or 10 p.m. and 2 a.m. So it was a late night spin. What was I thinking? I don't know. I was just, you know, in love with summertime and staying up late. So that's what I did, and I spun this. I'm thinking, because this is another benefit of the mic is I can talk and not be near the camera, and you can still hear me. Like, I can get up and go to my yarn wall. Anyway, I was thinking of combining these to be let me turn my computer monitor down now. I just can't pick what I want, but now it's giving like a purple hue. I mean, it was before too, but I want you to see these without the purple hue. We just have to be patient for it to go away. So imagine the purple hue is not as purpley, I guess. But I was thinking I could use it with this braid, which is very berry. I purchased it at the Rose City Yarn Crawl last year in 2024, and I could make the Harlow flip. Wouldn't that be nice? This is definitely a red purple, and this is definitely a more blue purple, even though there are some pink, there we go. There are some pink areas. So what do you think of this now without the purple light? Do you think those will look well together, go well together, look good together? Sorry. But also, you know, who cares? I've talked about this before. It doesn't matter. You know what I meant. Do you think that this would go? What do you think? Basically, the Harlow flip, as you can see, if I remember to put a picture up, it's a 2-color brioche hat. I'm worried, though, that I might not have enough because even though this is supposedly 100 grams, it feels incredibly light. Like, I don't know if this is 100 grams. So I may not have enough. I don't know. It's very stressful to play yarn chicken with hand spun because there's no more of it. You get what you get and you don't throw a fit, you know? So, but I did spin another skein. Dun da da da. Yeah. And it's so pretty. So, so pretty. But that's it for Spin Diary. I don't know what my next spin will be. And I have a lot of options, which I'm going to talk about shortly. Or, yes, I'll talk a little bit about it shortly, because in acquisitions I got some fiber. But yeah, that is, I'm pretty sure that's it. Do I have anything? Oh, I do have something else to tell you about my Spin Diary. Where's my big fat bobbin? Okay, got it. So for my Treehouse spin, since I was plying up 200 grams of fiber, and that's quite difficult to fit on one bobbin, I was brave enough to finally pull out the jumbo bobbin and jumbo flyer that Kromsky gifted me along with my spinning wheel last year. And I plied it on this big old bobbin. For reference, I still have some of Big Sur on this bobbin, of the Big Sur single. This, well, they don't look that different now, but maybe this view you can see. See, this one is smaller. I'm putting them right next to each other. See? And this one is much bigger. So I use my jumbo bobbin, and I'll put a picture here of what it looked like full of the two singles plied together. I was going to say the two fibers, but really the two singles plied together. Fit very nicely on the jumbo bobbin, and I think that I'm going to order some more jumbo bobbins because I only have one, and I would love to be able to have more options with that, because to use the jumbo bobbin, I have to change out some of the hardware to put the jumbo flyer on, and it's not it's not a hard or difficult process, but it's not as easy as just sitting there and getting going. So if I had more jumbo bobbins, I would have more flexibility with what I could do with it. So I think I'll order some more from the Woolery. Or I was looking at Etsy for some 3D printed ones, but then I got distracted. So I just need to do some research and figure out what mode of jumbo bobbin I want, and then add to cart and get it. So that's an exciting update with my Spin Diary. The next section is acquisition. So let me take off this necklace and I'll show you what I got in the mail this week. Okay, I have several treats to share with you. This is a hand massager that I got. I'm not going to tell you about it today in detail, but I will open it with you. How does that sound? Bob and Brad sent me this hand massager, and they wanted me to try it out and tell everybody what I thought of it. So that's what I'm going to do. If you recall, I did purchase a hand massager recently, a couple months ago. I got it on Amazon. You put your hand in and it like compresses and massages it around. So when Bob and Brad emailed me, they're like, hey, will you try ours? I was very interested because I want to see how it compares to the one I got and if it is a better product. Oh my goodness, this is making a mess over here. Ooh. Oh, this is interesting. There's treats in there. A bag. Oh, gloves. Oh, so you could put like lotion or something on, I assume. Interesting. Oh, and I've had one of these before. This is actually really cool. I'll show it to you. Okay, so this has like little roly-poly-olies, and you stick your fingers in there, and you can squeeze it down to help roll out your fingers. So like after a long knitting session or spinning session. Do I still have my old one? Or I don't know where I kept it, but these are really cool. Interesting. I like the buttons on this compared to this one, and this one is much bigger. So I'm going to try this out this week, and then in next week's podcast, I'll let you know what I think about it. Already some very notable differences from this one I got on Amazon. So I'll keep you posted, but I did get that in the mail, and I'm excited to test it out. Since I hadn't opened it before today, I wasn't about to tell you what I think of it because I want to poke around and figure out all the ins and outs. So I'll use that this week and let you know. The other thing that I got in the mail, ooh, I got fiber. Oh, where did I put it? In my fiber box. I got several braids. I think I got 4 braids of fiber from Long Dog Yarn. So let me grab them all and get them out of their Ziploc so you don't have to listen to the crinkling, and then I'll show them to you one by one. Okay, here's what I got. These are dyed inspired by some Disney songs, and this is the second time that Brandy has had these shades of fiber on her website, but the first time I was gone in Scotland, so I missed it, and since it was an in-stock update, when they were gone, they were gone. But thankfully, Brandy dyed up some more, and I was able to snag some. So I got 2 braids of Surface Pressure, which is a song from Encanto, and the instrumental version of Surface Pressure is when I was dissertating, and I was in my office late at night when everyone else was out of the building. I would listen to Disney instrumental music to help me write my dissertation. And like halfway through the playlist, this is like a playlist on Apple Music. I think it's different now than when I was listening to it because songs get added and removed. Anyway, about halfway down the playlist was the instrumental version of Surface Pressure. So I would like work on my dissertation, and it would be like quiet and calm. It would be like Tale as Old as Time and You'll Be in My Heart. And then like an hour and a half in, it would be Surface Pressure. So that was like when I had built up and I was like ready to kill it. I was ready to write the most smart sentences. I was ready to make the best arguments. I was ready to get this dissertation done. So that song is very special to me, and I'm very excited to have 2 braids of fiber. In fact, since I got these, I've ordered a 3rd. Sorry. So this is Surface Pressure on Polwarth, which I have yet to try spinning. I have another braid of Polwarth from Long Dog Yarn from her Yarn of Enchantment collection. It's a green. See, this is what it looks like. So I'm not sure how I like Polwarth, but I like how the colors look, so I'm betting on liking it, or I'm hoping I like spinning it. So that's how it looks on Polwarth, and then this is on BFL Silk. So you can see there's some differences, and there's like a silky sheen in places on this one. Really gorgeous. Gorgeous, gorgeous. And then also I got this braid, which is inspired by Colors of the Wind. This is also on Polworth. No, actually, this is BFL silk. My bad. But these are like Mardi Gras colors. So perfect, perfect, perfect. And then this last braid is inspired by A Whole New World. And we've got blues, purples, some orange. So pretty. Got that in the mail. Excited to spin that up. And what else did I get in the mail? Ooh, yarn. I got yarn from the Little Wolf Knits Italia collection. These are promotional skeins that Brianna sent to me because I now have an affiliate link with the Little Wolf Knits, which you can find in the video description if you're interested. But her Italia collection is currently open for pre-order. So she sent me, well, she asked me if I had any projects I wanted to make, and I said yes. And she sent me photos of the colorways, and I got to choose. I chose 2 projects that I'd like to make. The first is a ranunculus. So I made a short sleeve purple ranunculus in 2023, and it gets so much wear. I love my short sleeve ranunculus, and I made it with fingering held double. And recently, as I told you at the beginning of the episode, I really want to make green versions of the purple items I love in my hand knit wardrobe. So I've been wanting to make a green ranunculus. And also, as you know, I'm really, really captivated by this like blue-green, dark, stormy petrol color. So when I saw this color, which is called Skinny Dipping, in the lineup for the Italia collection, I said, yep, that's the one. I want it. So 4 skeins of Skinny Dipping on, what's this base called? Catamaran, which is 75-25 BFL nylon. Ooh, this is BFL. Ooh, that's exciting. And it's 460 yards per 100 grams. It's a 4-ply. My favorite type of fingering weight is 4-ply. So I'll be holding this double to make a short sleeve ranunculus. And then I also picked 3 DK weight skeins for, ding, 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 another Granny Square Pillow Sham. I was going to say Granny Pear Shillow something. No, Granny Square Pillow Sham. And I thought these 3 tonals, Skinny Dipping, Limoncello, and Bougainvillea. I hope that's correct. Anyway, they'll look so good together in a Granny Square Pillow Sham. Don't you think? I don't know what order I'll do. Maybe that. Ooh, so pretty. So got that in the mail. I'll probably cast on the ranunculus this week because, well, should I cast on the ranunculus or should I start the Granny Square Pillow Sham? I feel like I could start the Granny Square Pillow Sham and at least lock in the order that I want to do. Like, do I want green, yellow, pink, green, pink, yellow? What is the move? What do you think? Yeah, so I think I'll play around with this, lock in the color order I want, and then the ranunculus cast on as well. So I think that's it for acquisitions as far as yarn and fiber go. So now let me talk to you about the acquisition of those project bags. Let me gather them all up and I'll show you. Okay, I've got them all here. So you've already seen this Granny Square patterned project bag. It has a zipper, it has this handle, and then I also got sent this bag, which is actually a funny story. So I first learned about these bags because Chris of Barley Pearls emailed me, and Chris and Krista together, Krista, meant to be, they make these bags and they have an Etsy shop. And Chris said to me, I have a bag that reminds me of you and I'd love to send it to you. Also, why don't you take a look at our Etsy shop and pick out a bag and we'll send it to you too. So I picked out the Granny Square bag. I got to pick the size, I got to pick the finish, like the zipper, and I got to pick if it would be a detachable wrist strap or what the handle would be. This was my pick. And then Chris and Krista sent me this. This was their pick, and they said it reminded them of me because I lead all these knitting tours to Ireland and the UK. And now Denmark, too. Does Denmark have a monarchy? I should probably learn that, but I don't know right now off the top of my head. So they sent me this. It also has a zipper, and it's purple inside. And it has 2 pockets on either side along with a wrist strap. And then, so I was expecting 2 bags. I was expecting the granny square bag I picked out, and I was expecting the mystery bag that reminded them of me. But then they also sent me this one, which is so cute. It has like reverse stockinette stitch pattern knit fabric on the top, and then down here it says lovingly stitched lovingly stitched especially for you by. So it looks like these are like cute little fabric tags, like you would put on a handmade to give to someone. And then the inside also has 2 pockets. In the pocket, I think, of each bag, I think one fell out of the earlier bag, is a little business card for Barley Pearls. You can see this is from Chris Bard and Krista Barley. Oh, I didn't know that. Or no, Besley. Okay. Chris Bard and Krista Besley in Conway, Arkansas. So, 2 friends who make these bags. Isn't that so nice? Thank you so much to Chris and Krista for sending me these bags. I'm excited to use them. I'm already getting great use out of the granny square bag. But let me show you the most exciting part of what they sent me. In their Etsy shop, they have other wrist straps options. Look, with rulers. You might have clocked it on my granny square bag. The wrist strap is a ruler. How genius is that? So genius, so handy. So you have a measuring tape on the go embedded in your project bag. Incredible. So the good news about that, besides me getting the treat of 3 amazing project bags, handcrafted, handmade, incredible, is that they're going to give one of you a project bag. We're going to do a giveaway, you lucky ducks. What you need to do in order to enter the giveaway is go to the Barley Pearls Etsy shop, take a gander, take a sneak peek around. There are some really, really beautiful bags. It was difficult for me to choose between the granny square bag and a few other options. And in fact, they've added some things since I was looking at their inventory. So there's lots to choose from. All you have to do is go take a look and then come back here and comment what bag you would pick. For next week's podcast episode, I will announce the winner, so you've got to come back and watch, because if you don't see that you've won and email me to claim your prize, how are you going to get your awesome bag? So, go look at their shop, come back here and comment which bag you would choose, and then next week, I'll announce the winner and get you in contact with Chris and Krista so you can get your excellent bag. How does that sound? Yay! It's my first giveaway on YouTube, so fingers crossed it goes smoothly. And again, like I told you at the beginning of the episode, if you're not subscribing, you should subscribe so when you enter the giveaway, you can come back next week and remember, oh yeah, there's a giveaway being announced. I should go watch. You know? Okay, so there you go. That's it for acquisitions. I showed you my hand massager, my fiber, my yarn, and my project bags. So let's move on to announcements. I have 4 announcements for you. The first is that Copenhagen is almost full. I opened up signups for Copenhagen last week on Wednesday, and currently at time of filming, there are 4 spots available, up to 3 knitters. Let me just double check and make sure that's still accurate as I'm saying this. Yep, correct. So there are 4 spots left, but only 3 of those spots can be claimed by knitters. So if you want to come, you should probably sign up right now. In fact, I have to tell you, this will go live on Tuesday, my time, at 8 a.m. I doubt those 3 to 4 spots will still be available by then, but it doesn't hurt to check. The link is in the video description, or if it is full, I'll let you know in the video description. So either way, go check the video description, and good luck if you want to snag one of those last few spots. Again, I don't believe they will be still there by the time this goes up on Tuesday, but you never know. The second announcement is, if you're sad, if you did miss out on Copenhagen, I am going to be opening up Ireland, the original Irish knitting tour. I'll be opening up signups to my email list this week, so I will send an email out to my email list probably Tuesday evening, Tuesday afternoon. So sign up for my email list right now. Go, 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 go. Because if you're watching this after Tuesday afternoon, my time, the email probably will already have been sent out. So sign up for my email list if you want early access to sign up for the original Irish Knitting Tour. This will now be the 4th annual Irish Knitting Tour. It is also the last tour for 2026. So if you want to join a 2026 tour, this one will be your last chance. Okay? There's a lot I could say about this tour, but I'll just tell you, well, I'll say a lot actually, I will. I was getting a little emotional, a little teary-eyed when I was making the webpage for it this weekend because I was just flooded with memories of all the good times and the amazing people that I experienced the Irish Knitting Tour with, both in 2023, 2024. I will be experiencing it again in October of this year, in 2025. It's just like, words can't express how special this particular trip is to me. All my knitting tours I love, but the Irish Knitting Tour is like my baby. It's the first one. So special to me. Like remembering the foggy mornings at Lyrith Estate, or the cozy knit nights at the Lake Hotel, or the workshop with Lisa Sisk and Ava Nee and Carol Feller and Liz Spillane, and it goes on and on and on. All the places to buy yarn, all the local artisans that we get to meet. Autumn in Ireland, you can breathe and see your breath because it's so cold. Look at this. This is amazing. This is the best part. Can you see my breath? Doesn't that sound amazing right now? It's the unbearable heat that many of us are living in. So I'm so much looking forward to the 4th annual Irish Knitting Tour, and I would love to share it with you. If you want first dibs, sign up for the email list. But if not, you'll have to be patient, and probably next week I will open up signups to the general public here on YouTube and Instagram, etc. So there you go. Those are my announcements. Oh, also, I still have 2 announcements to tell you. If you want an idea of what a knitting tour is like and kind of see the day-to-day ins and outs, I am currently in the process of uploading my Scotland knitting tour recaps, so I'll link the playlist up here. You can go check it out and see what I got up to while I was abroad for a month. And then the final announcement is Tour de Fleece is coming up. Are you participating? I am. I'm not on a team because I think I've learned that team sports aren't for me, and I would consider Tour de Fleece a team sport, a sport. So I'm just going to be solo, and I'm just going to try and spin whatever brings me joy, whether that is, I've been kicking around the idea of doing a sweater spin because I have a kilogram of Shetland wool top. Where is it? Yes. Okay, so here's 500 grams of the Shetland, and then here's another 500 grams, making a kilogram. I purchased this in 2024 when I first went to Shetland, and I'm going back to Shetland next year. So in my mind, it's really easy to romanticize the thought of spinning up the whole kilogram that I bought and knitting a sweater out of it and wearing it to Shetland. Will that happen? Probably not, but maybe it could. So maybe I'll spin this during Tour de Fleece, but also my little rat brain needs constant stimulation. So spinning a kilogram of one color, that sounds like torture. So I may go through my hand-dyed braids. I don't know. I'm just going to have fun with it. I may spin a lot, I may spin a little, but I will spin some. That's what I know. So I hope to bring you along for the ride for Tour de Fleece, but Vlogmas, I always have high hopes, and then I burn out. I just fizzle out real fast. So I don't know if that's what will happen with Tour de Fleece. We'll see. But either way, I'll be participating. If you're participating, would you let me know in the comments and tell me what your plan is? Like, are you going to do a sweater spin? Are you going to do just like as much as you can? Are you going to do one braid? What is your plan? Tell me so I can, data mine and get an idea of how I might structure my own plan, because time's running out, folks. It starts the 5th, which is on Friday, right? Is it Friday or Saturday? It's Saturday. My goodness. Okay, it's coming up quickly. So get ready, whatever that means for you. But I hope that it means, let me know in the comments what you're doing, because I feel not ready and I would like to have a plan, like sort of a plan. Because just saying I'm just going to do whatever I want, yes, that's a good plan, but also I would like a little bit more structure to aim for. Wow. My whole plan changed in the course of me telling you this announcement, because initially I was like, yeah, like no rules, go with the flow, do whatever I want. But now I'm like, I would like a little structure. So what's your structure? Share it with me, and then maybe I'll adopt some of it, or like take different structures from different comments and make my own recipe. You know? All right, so that's it for announcements. We went over project updates, we went over spin diary, we went over acquisitions. What else do you want to know? I don't know what else to tell you, you creep. You can't know everything about me. Maybe next week. Okay, so that's it for this video. I hope you liked it. If you did, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel if you don't already, and hit that notification bell to be notified of my next upload, especially if you're going to enter the giveaway. Because I don't want you to forget that you entered and then never watch next week's podcast, and then I never hear from the winner, and then we're just in limbo. I've heard of that happening with other YouTube giveaways, and it kind of stresses me out. So we're going to try it. We're going to see how it goes, and hopefully the person who wins is back here next week to claim their prize. So that's all for now. I hope you like this video. I hope you're having a good day. I hope whatever you're working on is bringing you joy, and if it's not, pivot. If your suri is too dark for your wool, move on. If your suri's not dark enough and you want it to be a little marling, move along and find that perfect project for whatever your brain and your heart is asking for today. Okay? All right. Okay, bye.